Roll call, please.
Chris?
Here.
Irene? Irene? Here. Dan?
Here.
Jim?
Here.
Doug?
Here.
Les?
Yes.
And Mike?
Here. Okay, go to, let's see, approval of this agenda. Glance over it. All right, we've already got a motion to accept.
It'll look good to me.
Got a second by Doug. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Yes. Hey, that wasn't me, all right? I don't even plan on using that. Okay. Approval of last meeting's minutes, tab 2. Get a motion to accept.
You're gonna have to speak up, Mike, for Irene.
Can we get a motion to accept? Okay, we have a motion from Irene.
Second.
Got a second from Les.
They're putting in new carpet upstairs. That's what the
Okay.
banging around is. Or they're digging county skeletons out.
All right, we'll
One
do
or the
that.
other.
Burial report, please.
The who, what?
Burial report.
Oops, sorry.
This one.
I was paying attention to something else. For this month, we only have one. And as of right now, we've got around $5,140 left for the fund for the fiscal year. New fiscal year starts January 1st, so I had a meeting today with the finance folks, and since the new millage passed and everything, that new budget will start. So the next meeting, I'll be able to give you what our budget is going to look like for that year, and then kind of some checkpoints of what I proposed once that, if you remember for earlier in this year, some areas that I wanted to cover to propose to the committee for approval for expanding on down the road. So now that that budget's passed, we can start those discussions. So in this next month, you'll get kind of my vision with your approval of where I think the department needs to get steered. So you'll be seeing that. For right now for the year, we've done 25 burial applications. I don't have December numbers. I do know that there are 4 pending that I know of right now. Unfortunately, we had a veteran that passed this Sunday that we were working at getting his some benefits for. So, but 4, so that number will be 29 for the year. I'm guessing around 32 by the time all the applications come in. So, but for this month, just 1 for the report.
I'm understanding that you sign all these now.
What's that?
I'm understanding that you sign all these now.
Yes.
We used to. It used to be one of our
That's correct.
normal activities is to sign all of them. So that's okay. Just so we know.
Yep. Also, on the back of the form is a place for notary, and I'm not signing as the director. I'm signing as the notary. So, I guess it's got oversight and also the legalities to it. So everything is good because I can't sign as director and a notary for it. So, but if you all decide you still want to sign for those, we can bring those back and go for it.
But anything that our name's on, we should know.
Yeah.
You know, and it's this with a lot, like the telephone ones that we're talking about, the other ones. Anytime our name's opinions on something we'd like to at least be
Yeah, we talked about that prior to the meeting. What he's gonna do is send us a group email when he approves something up to $1,000 or something that the committee should be made aware of. So we're not waiting a month, for our regular meeting. And we have some oversight information on it.
Yeah, you just tell me if you guys want to sign for the burials or not, and I can stop signing.
Well, you don't need to notarize anything, do you, on a burial?
But by law, it's required, yep.
Okay, then we'll sign it then. So you
We
want
all of us sitting here know the past.
yeah, we've always done it that way.
And to other people on the
Yeah,
board
so-
and the things that's gone.
Boils down to
bad.
we'll sign.
Okay.
And it hasn't been good in the past.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah. Do you have that one ready for us to sign, or?
No, not right now.
All right, committee claims,
There's three. And I gave you, since we can't put anything on the board or on the projector, they're in order right in front of you,
Okay.
okay?
Who's the
So-
First one is for.
The first one is Frederick. You have that one? That was your first one? Okay, we have a 61-year-old widow with 0 dependents who was married to a veteran who lives in Perry for a Veterans Relief Fund request in the amount of $932. That's including consumer's energy and her water bill. Food and gas were already given. She is receiving widow benefits and is still under the maximum income limit of $35,986. Her annual income is $15,396. Her monthly income to bill ratio is 1,283 to 1,711 in expenses, which leaves a difference of $428 in the negative. She owed a Dish Network bill, and it was automatically subtracted out of her account in the amount of $450 without her consent. And she said there was nothing she could do to stop it, and this set her back with her strict budget. Once she receives the help that she needs, she will be able to get back on her feet with her planned budget, and she has made efforts to try and resolve her budgeting issues on her own by lowering some of her monthly payments. The veteran was honorably discharged from the Army. His dates were from November 1966 to 1967, serving 1 year and 11 months. He was awarded Vietnam Service Medal, Vietnam Campaign Medal, National Defense Service Medal. The last time we helped her was in September of 2016, and we helped with consumers, water, and food, and it was approved.
DD 214.
any discussion?
You also have the DD 214 attached to those papers. What did you say, Mike?
I asked the committee if they had any discussion.
Oh,
Can you give me that revenue to debt ratio?
her monthly bills are, let's see, $1,711, and her income is $1,283.
Thank you.
Mhm. I'm sorry, it's $1,811, not $1,711.
So on our debt, we have
It's-
$1,811.
Yeah, I made a mistake on that.
Yeah, one more time, revenue was 1,000, or income was 1,283.
Yes,
Thank you.
expenses, $1,811.
Thank you.
And we helped this lady 2 years ago.
Yes.
I see the expenses and everything, seeing, really online other than the cable bill. That's a lot. $55 a month, and I can see, I know what's gonna happen if credit card number, they are gonna take the money. You know, so anytime somebody asks me about that, I tell them don't ever give up because you can put yourself in a bad position just like this. Go to 305, and she got a couple of months behind. And the emergent need is
That and emergency need would be consumers will turn it off.
Mhm.
We're in winter.
a situation like that, we usually look for a shut off.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
This
that's
is
a
an
good
emergent
point.
need, this is county money that we
This
have
is
to.
what
Is this
we
lady
gave us
received,
already.
Cindy,
What's that?
has she got any notice on, from
On her
consumers?
consumers, let me see if she did.
$508 seems a little high even for consumers.
Well-
Is that a couple of months?
Yeah, you know, I checked on, it wasn't due when it wasn't past due when she brought this in, but when I checked online, it was past due. So I put a hold on it for her. I mean, it was past due, but it wasn't a turn off, put it that way. Now it's a turn off.
So that $581 is probably not an average monthly.
No,
Okay.
It's the, does it show what the month was prior?
You know, yeah, I see that. Being from Vietnam era. I have several people with people, I know what her age range is, and I can understand
Let's see
something like
what
this
her-
can happen to her.
here on her own.
And kind of have to take care of them to the people too, because he did sacrifice his life being there, he definitely, for us.
Must be,
Well, that was-
she was trying to come in.
When someone comes in, I know we've talked about this before, but in this specific application, you discussed with us, when she goes down on her monthly expenses, you know, Jim had a good point as far as cable bill and, I mean, is there some kind of financial assistance offered as far as counseling? Where, because if she came to us 2 years ago, I wouldn't be surprised if 2 years from now or a year from
She'll be
now,
back.
if you continue spending more than you have come in, I'm wondering if there's been any kind of offer to financial guidance or counseling for this individual.
You know, I don't think, I mean, we haven't done anything like that,
Okay? What's,
but,
could we start doing that maybe?
Yeah.
We have
Yeah,
some
I can
special
look into that.
Folks that,
Yeah.
That'd be great.
that would,
folks that
that would be,
continually- All
yeah,
right,
that's a good
maybe
idea.
help them out a little bit, you know?
Mhm.
Have them give a shut off notice, consumers.
And that, he has a
Emergent
valid,
need, because that is very specific in the language.
that's a valid point,
Mhm.
emergent need.
What'd he
okay.
say?
It's, words are specifically used.
Emergent need, which is part of the requirement for
Mhm.
approval.
Ask for it, you probably get it.
Mm, I haven't.
But otherwise, I can see I can give it to them.
So you said that it is past due now,
It-
right?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. So maybe not at the time of the application, but it is an emergent need at this point.
Mhm.
All right. Any other further discussion? Okay, let's take a roll call vote.
Chris?
Yes.
Irene? Yes. Jim?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
Les?
Yes.
And Mike?
Yes.
Dan, did I say Dan?
No,
Dan, sorry.
but I say yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're such a small guy, it's easy to overlook you.
Oh, my God.
That was the one.
Next one.
Okay, next one is,
Next one.
Edward. He is a 75-year-old U.S. Army veteran with one dependent. His wife Dorothy, she's 75 years old. They reside in Owasso and are requesting a Veterans Relief Fund for a ramp. He's given us 3 estimates that are attached to your booklet there. They're receiving $2,108 with their combined income and are still under the maximum income limit of $43,185. Their annual income is $25,296. Their monthly income to bill ratio is $2,108 to $2,445 in expenses, which leaves a difference of $337 in the negative. Mr. Peck has a future appointment to apply for benefits. His wife has a disease of the spinal cord and has had 3 surgeries on her back within 4 months and cannot walk or stand. He cannot get her in and out of the home due to the wheelchair. There are steps on the porch. They were doing well up until her back issues. They have tried other agencies before coming here, but they were told there was no funding available. He was honorably discharged from the Army. His dates of service were December 13th, 1960 through January 13th, 1964, and he was awarded the Marksman's Rifle. The last time we helped him was in May of 2017, and it was for electric and water bill, and it was approved by the board.
This is one of those that's like close. He didn't serve. What's the actual date, Mike, for the beginning of the Vietnam era?
Oh, it's right here.
'64, August 5th of '64 through May 7th, or I'm sorry, yeah, May 7th of '75.
Mhm.
Yeah, it'd be August of '64, so he would not fit the Vietnam era, even the
Okay.
Vietnam era. He's just before.
Right, so
Oh, yeah. Okay.
now,
And Korea ended in '55, so
yeah, well,
So he was. January. Yeah. Yeah, this close.
how about,
Can you do the piece?
it's not final yet, they can't.
Difference in quotes, prices.
okay, so this gentleman doesn't really qualify for a PA 214 based on time served or time that he served. However, the other fund, how much do we have in our donation fund?
35,000 and some change.
35,000.
The however is, working with finance again, the donation funds have to be used specifically for what they were donated for. So if it says office, whatever,
Sure.
it has to be office. If it says for
Okay.
Shoes for veterans, we have to buy shoes for veterans.
Do we have that broken down
As far as,
to help this gentleman in particular?
right now, we can't because we're waiting on the Attorney General's opinion for, because he would fit in the peacetime category.
I understand that. I'm talking about, we also have money in
The donations.
donations.
Yeah, I didn't bring it down with me. I can go grab it.
And I understand that it has to be used specifically for what the donor, I understand that, but if we can help this gentleman out of that fund, any discussion on that?
A couple $100, I think, but let me go run and grab that real quick.
You refer to less on this one. You built these ramps, how many people, you built these 400 houses, is this?
Well,
is
I
this too much?
was gonna ask Cindy,
Yeah.
is that to double check on this gentleman that did the estimate.
Mm-hmm.
He's talking a 20-foot and a 22-foot long ramp with only one landing in between the two. According to the zone, it was every 10 feet you had to have a landing.
Every 10 feet?
Yeah. Because if not, you could get it, some folks that their wheelchairs got away from them, they could build up a lot of speed in 20-some foot.
So which estimate are you looking at?
Well,
There's
so
like-
I'd check with zoning to make sure that it's
On the bid
still
memo,
in effect.
Oh,
the
okay,
diagram shows 24 foot from the house
okay,
and then 22 foot to the sidewalk.
I see it,
We need to make sure that it's in
within the zone.
compliance with.
Yeah, because according to his own description, he's only put one landing in the whole thing.
That's what
And
Yeah.
he needs more.
Okay,
And I'm just saying, that that's the way it was last time I checked, but you might want to double check with zoning in case there's any
Okay.
changes.
yeah, I will.
This one is construct a 30-foot long ramp with one rest area, the second quote.
Yeah, you'd have to have at least two more.
That's expensive.
And it is pretty pricey,
Yeah.
$3,000.
Shoot that third one there, that's double what the other two are.
Why do they always have to come with something attached to a second one before this?
Les, you're the expert here, but on the code, that is for personal residence too, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
I hate those stairs.
Okay, so, you ready?
And another thing, Cindy, real quick,
Mm-hmm.
on the, this page,
Yeah,
he's looking at $5,249
mm-hmm,
total, but on, right off page one, he only was asking for $3,800.
that's a different,
Is that a different one?
yeah, there's 3 bids there,
Okay,
there's 3. That's Glad Day, and then the first one is Mitch, somebody, and then Bowen Construction. There's the second one.
That first page is pretty basic.
$690 we could use.
Out of a $35,000.
Correct.
Anyone that, maybe I'm just, I don't understand, everyone that donates money, they give a specific reason. You don't
Yeah.
just have someone that donates to vets.
And those that fit that 690 category are that, exactly, veteran in need,
Okay.
or veterans.
Okay. Wow.
No, everything else is specific.
Okay, well, by the PA 214, this gentleman doesn't qualify for that based on his service time.
Had he been in country, that date would have started back in 61, but unfortunately, he was not in country.
That's well short of what he's gonna need.
Correct. There is a positive to this. I found this out today, speaking with Community Action Services. Is it, not the Elder Abuse Coalition of Elder Citizens, I think here. They've got a grant specifically for ramps. So this would be a great one, and it has not, the money, from my understanding, has not been completely utilized for end of the year, and they're looking for somebody to assist before the end of the year. So this would be a perfect candidate to get over to them tomorrow.
Who is that, Home Depot?
No, it's, I'm not sure where the funds have come from. It's the Council on Aging, I think is what
Yeah.
but they've got this fund grant that they're looking for somebody for a ramp, so this individual would be a perfect fit.
And I suggest we hit them up, that's SCOA, Shiawassee County on Aging, and also Home Depot. They do give out grants for the same thing,
Yes,
and they'll build it.
potentially, yes.
you know,
Let's,
so-
let's do that, and please, when you talk to both Home Depot and SCOA, let them know that these folks are in need of this ramp, and they've requested help from our committee, but we were unable to help him based on his service times, all right? He is a veteran, however, he doesn't qualify for the PA 214.
Yeah, not at this time, until
Yeah,
that,
just-
yeah,
just let them know that, all right? Maybe that'll help them.
okay,
But could you come back next month and let us know?
absolutely.
Because we can check out during the month to see what's out there.
Yeah, things
I
may
know
change.
someone's out there that's just deserted
Yeah,
ramps.
I'll start looking this for more
You
ramps.
probably have a couple in your backyard.
He said 2 years ago.
I got bits and pieces left.
Yeah,
2 years ago, the widow applied and she was granted. She's probably gonna wonder why she's not now, all right? So please explain, if you need to make a copy of what the requirement is, and that's before some of us on the committee were not on the committee at that time, but,
yeah, and I'll call and explain that to her.
pardon me?
I will call and explain that
Okay, great,
criteria
thank you.
to her.
Yeah.
All right, you got one more?
Okay, we're gonna vote on,
There's nothing to vote
oh,
on.
okay, you're not
Yeah,
gonna,
it
okay.
doesn't fall.
It's just,
Okay.
don't, it's not being
It's a no,
turned down.
okay.
Next month is to bring it back up again.
Okay.
And
All
then
right.
we can, see
Okay.
what's come up with, and hopefully we'll have a solution, or you found a solution for it.
I
Need you just
I think I have, we
Yeah.
just need that
Yeah.
legal basis, so we're legal to continue, so.
Okay, the last one. She's an 87-year-old wife of a deceased U.S. Army veteran. Her name is Eleanor with zero dependents. She resides in Owasso and is requesting house repairs. She has given us an estimate of $525. She is receiving $550 in Social Security. She's under the maximum income limit of $25,296. Her annual income is $18,600. And her monthly income to bill ratio is 1,550 to 1,537 in expenses. The storm-related damage includes downed tree, utility pole, crash down on the house and roof, pulling service riser. It requires a new meter socket and riser plus wiring. She depends on her children for assistance. After this is repaired, she'll be back on track with her budget. The veteran was honorably discharged from the U.S. Navy. His dates of service were from September 13th, 1951 through October 22nd, 1955, and no known medals. She has never received assistance from us.
Okay, whereas the previous one, this gentleman here, this lady's husband, the deceased veteran, he qualifies, all right, during the Korean conflict.
Right.
So,
She's asking for 525.
525, yeah. 525.
She's 87 years old. No, guys.
All right, let's,
Yeah, you wanna
It's
vote?
Christmas, it's Christmas, you don't want to get,
we've established that they qualify, all right? You got emergent need, roll call vote, please.
Chris,
Yes.
Irene, Irene,
I am having difficulty hearing.
Okay. This lady's husband was a Korean War, Korean conflict veteran. He, although he didn't serve there, but he qualifies because he served during that time frame. And she needs some help repairs to her home. She's asking for $525 to repair storm damage. And we're at the point where we want to do a roll call vote. There's an emergent need and they qualify. Okay? Go ahead, Irene.
Now you're taking the roll call.
Yep, it's your
Yes.
turn. There you go.
thank you. All right, Dan,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Doug,
Yes.
Les,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
thank you.
Did you get Chris?
Yes.
Yeah, I already called him for.
So is that it with that's it with our claims, correct?
Correct.
How will you do our monthly report? Just out of the book here?
yep.
Yes.
I could have everyone turn to tab 5.
Yeah.
Tab 5, we're gonna go over the monthly reports.
Have fun, okay. Maybe I should have somebody replace me because if we're gonna meet in this room,
Well,
I'm having trouble.
yeah, what can we do about?
We could probably-
I can find a different location next month.
Okay. You like to see it up on the PowerPoint? Do you like to see that as well? When it does the monthly report, it's up on the wall, PowerPoint presentation. Do you like that?
Sometimes that's not a help. Because
Okay. So it's just basically having a problem hearing us?
yes, I do.
Okay. We need to address that. You're not
I
going
think
anywhere.
maybe I should find out why I can't
No.
find some hearing aids that do me some good. I know that they adjusted something after they realized that I did have some brains. And they, well, the way they stated that, they did not do something with my hearing aid because they didn't think that at my age that I would understand how it works.
Well, most people don't live to be 100, so, you know, you're an exception, all right? You're not leaving our committee,
I'm the
okay?
guinea pig.
All right, we're gonna work on that, okay?
I'll fix it, Irene.
I'll come up and see you.
Yes, ma'am. All right, for transportation services, on tab 5, it's the first slide there. We've done a total, up to this point, again, I don't have the end of the month reports yet for December, but we've given 270 rides, or 270 rides, I should say, for total miles of 22,495. With that, our van, the new one, should be here the second week of January.
Our commercial
Finally,
van.
the commercial van,
Yeah, the
so.
one we've been waiting forever.
Because I thought you seen me a new one already, driving in the.
Yeah, and that was the DAV, the new, we swapped that one out, or so, yep. So, the commercial van that the commissioners approved, we'll have that the second week of January. That should be here delivered to us.
Did we get in flame red, like fire engine red, flame job on the side?
Yes, mag wheels
Yeah,
with spinner
we want
wheels.
like a Kearney.
Spinner
No,
wheels, yeah. Burials, as I've said, just one for November, 25 total, and that number is gonna go up based upon applications that are still being processed and coming in towards the end of the month, so. Next page. Nope, just the next page, Irene.
Just the next page.
Yes, ma'am.
not the tab, the page.
I am trying.
Well, yes, you are, but we're sliding past that one. Do it, right page.
Okay,
For total veterans, this month was, or for November was 158. And of note is the homeless numbers for the year. We've averaged, if you take pretty much at least one a month, we're seeing. And for this month, we had one as well. She was housed, actually let me back up. She was evicted out of her apartment, homeless. We put her up in a hotel. She, as of yesterday, finally got subsidized housing. She has her own place, and the community of Owasso, apparently, I'm not sure if it's the Kiwanis Club or who it is, but they've gotten together and they're going to be building her a ramp. She is missing a leg and has a little, one of the electric runabout chairs, so she will have it handicap accessible, or ADT accessible. And we are still, as of now, since I came on, 9 for 9 homeless veterans for identifying them as homeless and then finding them permanent housing. So great job on the team that I've been utilizing and the office staff for helping me move some mountains in order to make that happen. So next, Michigan Veterans Trust Fund. To date, $655.78 is all that has been approved from them for the entire year. So pending your questions.
Are we still helping them out?
Yes,
Okay.
we ask the veterans all the time if they would like to apply or not. As soon as they do, we'll
I'm talking about
do the packet. Yes, and the committee is notified as well.
Thank you.
Yep.
Mike, these are total, on your total numbers here, that's how many people have reached out to you and your team?
Yes, that's the number of folks that have walked through our door.
7.7 a day average, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's busy.
Yeah, and it's going to get busier, just because.
Yeah, you're at 154 months, 7.7 per day,
Yep.
based on 20 days.
For those that don't know, a couple of things, points of order, I guess. One is the Marine Corps League was shut down for the state, and so the local chapters are still active. There's still a, I guess, national organization, but for the state of Michigan, the Marine Corps League is no longer. That means John Terrell, who came as a veteran service officer, is no longer. I'm going to be looking at a couple of other different organizations for additional assistance to fill his spot. And as soon as I do, I'll let the committee know who that individual is and what organization they're coming from.
We may have spoken about this, you and I, offering one of those individuals employment.
Yeah, I did, and he has since taken employment with the VFW.
Okay.
So, and he'll be working out of the Seabach in Flint, as well as the Flint area VFW.
What about trainer? He was not.
He retired.
Okay.
So,
Geez, I got 2 or 3 people that I've sent over just recently was working with him.
yep,
What do I tell them?
they'll need to assign either a new POA, or they're gonna, if they want to stay Marine Corps League, they're gonna have to go to like Saginaw, or I'm still waiting for. And Jim Toohey, I believe, is the director or the interim director to kind of finalize the closing and everything. As soon as he sends out, and he's supposed to be sending something out to the masses on what do we do with the Marines out there who have claims in and who are going to the court systems for either reviews or rebuttals, or nobody seems to know right now. So as soon as I hear something, I'll get it out. I just didn't want it to, bad news does not go well with time, so I wanted to make sure everyone here was aware of that.
I'm going to a Marine Corps meeting tonight.
Yeah, please let them know that, and see if they've heard anything, because I have not at this point. except that they've closed. So the other bad piece of information is, if you all were watching the news last night, legislation came down for the blue water legislation of whether or not, for those that weren't Navy, ships that were off the coast of Vietnam, I think it was 10 plus miles, a lot of the soldiers are displaying similar ailments with Agent Orange because the planes landed on the deck, they would hose off the planes, decontaminate stuff, they would pull the water next to the ship up for drinking water and for cooking and everything else, but it failed, it did not pass. And so the next round of what's going to happen is going to start, but as of right now it didn't pass. I'm sure we're going to start getting some Navy veterans in with some complaints and some questions. So again, as I find information out, I'll make it available to the committee. So. PA 214, going back to the slides. To date, we have spent $92,047. That number will change on my budget report for the end of the year. Again, that's not including what's approved in this meeting now. And that doesn't include our transportation costs. We haven't received our final bills from Transportation Solutions, so that will be coming up. And you will see a different number, so don't panic for the budget slide here coming up in just a minute. All right, on to tab 6 for directors' reports. Currently, the fund balance year to date is $336,276. As I said, I had a finance meeting this morning with the finance ladies. We do have a new director of finance for the county, so as you guys make your way out, you might want to stop in and say hello to her. At the start of the new year, the new fiscal year starts, so our budget with the new passing of the millage will also start again, and it's a renewal. So I know there was a lot of chatter. I fended a lot of phone calls from taxpayers and constituents from the different districts with concerns on whether or not, because if we all remember the newspaper, thanks to the Argus Press of writing misinformation that it was a new millage. It was not, it's a renewal, as we all know. So that actually passed 69% for those that didn't know the statistics, which is, I guess, the highest, that one of the highest veteran millage, I guess, votes in the state was Shiawassee County. So thank you all for that. For the budget for FY18 was budgeted at $103,694, which as of today leaves us with $1,054. That's gonna, the closing out of the budget for the month is gonna push us a little over, and my projection for year-end budget, we're gonna be over budget $3,279.94. However, if we all remember, 20,000 of that was for the purchase of the van that the commissioners approved. So in actuality, we're 17,000 and some change, or 16,000 and some change to the good. But because of the way you're saying, well, how can we be 3,000 over budget? It's because 20,000 was allocated for a van. So that's where that comes from. In the donations, the last donation was $1,000. That was from the Owasso High School football team, and then to date the donations are $35,088.34. The reason we have not, or I have not seen that on the budget history or the budgetary status report is because apparently it was never a locked account. So every year it was rolling over, if you remember the last, and zeroing out, and we were going, okay, well, where the hell's the donations going? So after some fact finding and piecemealing, again with the finance ladies this morning, at the first of the year, that will be a locked account. That $35,000 will be essentially put back. It's there, but it's in our cash capital. it will be pulled out and put into that account where it's supposed to be, and the numbers will be even, and the ship will be back to smooth water, so. We fixed that for the end of the year as well. Pending your questions on budget. Last, we're still awaiting the Attorney General's office on the use of funds for peacetime veterans. We discussed that a little bit before we started the meeting officially, but for the record, it was asked of the Veterans Office by the committee to look into a way of how we could assist peacetime veterans. There's a county currently in Michigan, Macomb County, is one of them, who has been doing it for around 10 years through their funding. And so I copied their verbiage, found out how they went about doing that. Last month I rewrote the policies, the committee's policies, to include that verbiage, which the committee approved. And then you all asked me to send a note up to the Attorney General's for a legal review. We don't want to get caught of, well, they've done it for 10 years, so we can do it, because then that's where problem and crap happens. So to stay above board and to make sure that we're legal, we're waiting on, and I say we, the Veterans Department is waiting for that legal review from the Attorney General's office. So pending your questions, Chairman, that's all I have.
Should you receive that prior to our meeting? Let's hold off until we have a chance to sit down and everyone is clear on the verbiage in the Attorney General's.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
And
Yep.
even when you can do it with $1,000, no money spent until it's been discussed here.
No, and something like that, the committee would have to vote on that. Absolutely.
All right.
Yep, because that's bringing in a whole nother puzzle piece.
Okay.
And for budgetary, I guess we could have that quick discussion. For budgetary, what I had proposed to the finance folks is that the way that the account right now, 293, which is the Veterans, or 291, no, 293, which is the Veterans Relief Fund, we just copy and paste it and assign a different line item number. I think the last three for this account is 001. So for this peacetime account will be 002, and then every line item that this one has, it'll just be a mirror copy. And then the committee will have to decide the dollar amount that will go into that fund. So, but that way everything, since the system's already created, the accounting's already created, there's no reason to recreate the wheel, in my opinion. So
Is that it?
that's it. That's all I have.
We have two citizens out here. Would you folks like to say something, address a committee, or?
My name is Kimberly Bowen. I'm with Welcome Home Veterans, and I'm just here to learn how you all operate and how our veterans that are in need are getting their needs met. So,
Okay. Well, thank you for attending.
What's your name, by the way?
Kim,
Kimberly Bowen.
Okay. I was gonna say.
My name is Bob Hardy, and I'm just an interested veteran.
Thank you for attending, sir.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Any comments from the committee? We do have our party this Friday at the Shiawassee VFW, 6 p.m. I've already got a date, so don't you try to hone in on my date, Wes, all right?
I'll try to resist. And my wife is coming, so I'm gonna have to behave.
Okay, we've extended an invitation to the outgoing county commissioners, the incoming county commissioners, and the current county commissioners, so I don't know if you got any response.
4 have said that they're going to try to make it.
Okay.
So
They've been good to us, and they support what we do, and this is a way to show our appreciation, so don't start anything, all right? You know I'm talking to you. Okay, well, let's go ahead and adjourn. The next meeting will be Wednesday, January 16, 2019. Please work on something so we can, the buildings we looked at, the first one was the old Montgomery Ward's building. It's set up in the basement, it's very nice, there's plenty of room for our staff, but it won't be available till June. So we're gonna have to get by other means, this or whatever else they can come up with until June. But we need to work on the volume, so maybe, some of us can hear. I got hearing issues also. Anyway, thank you very much.
I do have a quick question for Mike and Cindy. Last month we mentioned, Irene and I, about helping out veterans for Christmas. That the regional county Veterans Committee was looking for names. And hopefully, in the past, it's always went through the VA of people that could use, a turkey dinner and maybe some toys for kids, stuff like that. So I'm hoping that you have a list made up.
I've got a partial list, and the reason I say partial is because there's 4 families that have already been sponsored by other organizations already. But I do have some names to forward to you, or to get to you, that have not. So I'll get with you after this.
Because we got 3 DFWs and DAV are all on board with giving anywhere from $100 to $200 each.
I'll get with you after this. I've got some names to get to you.
What is our total now?
Hey, can you get a group picture real
This is
quick?
6.
Yeah.
We have everyone here.
You want to do it in the front?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
All right.
We're gonna have a group picture.
You need to
Right.
adjourn, Cindy.
Pardon?
You're still official. You need to adjourn.
I believe I did that already. Okay, so we're gonna adjourn again till Wednesday, what did I say before, the 19th of January next year, so. There you go.
All right.
How much of a gavel.
Doug has something.
I got a question for you, take off. Is the